More NBA Media Day action to report. This from Brooklyn, New York, where the new-look Nets met with reporters. As expected, all eyes on Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, the two newest, biggest stars in the Big Apple. Remember, last season was a doozy of a season, specifically for Kyrie in Boston. Lots of drama, and he actually was asked about that, addressed that today. Listen closely as Kyrie takes ownership of how he handled things with the Celtics.
9 months ago, I was sitting in front of the Boston crowd saying that I wanted to resign. And after that, a lot of things happened in my personal life that really changed the landscape of how I felt about the game of basketball and actually playing it in a team environment. And when all this happened and the NBA and the pressures, I put it in quotations, from this basketball game came into free agency and what I was doing with my future, I wanted to dispel all those things, but I don't think I did it in the right way of being honest about how I felt. And I failed those guys in a sense that I didn't give them everything that I could have during that season, especially with the amount of pieces that we had. So my relationships with them personally were great, but in terms of me being a leader in that environment and bringing everyone together, I failed. With Katie and DJ, it was 4:16 in the morning, us just talking about our futures and how this opportunity ahead of us is something that we haven't had in our careers, the ability to make a choice, sitting down, actually talking in detail about the future and the investment we had in one another and the investment we wanted to have in Brooklyn. So it made sense all the way around, and then having the incredible people that they have in the organization made it that much easier.
A busy day for the Brooklyn Nets, and Malika Andrews was there for all of it. Malika, I know you spoke with Kevin Durant about how exactly he got to this decision to leave the Warriors for the Nets. What did you take from it?
Well, Sage, Kevin said it was a fairly simple decision for him. He was thinking about what he wants and his needs, but he can say it better than I can. Take a listen.
I just evaluated my life up until this point, and once I did that, and it was pretty easy to see the direction that I need to go into. And, I had some great options on the table with some championship-winning organizations, some smart business minds behind the scenes as well that I could have built with around the league. But ultimately, I couldn't make a bad decision, but, this one was the perfect one for me.
Well, Kevin also told me that he does not expect to be back on the court again this season. His role is going to be in the locker room, being a good teammate, rehabbing his Achilles. He said that he is not doing basketball activities yet. Right now, he's just focusing on strength. And the other injury we're going to have to keep an eye on is Kyrie's face. It remains to be seen whether or not he's going to practice tomorrow. Sage?
Yeah, that's the late ad there this week with the facial fracture. So, but hey, we'll see. It sounds like Kevin Durant's in a good frame of mind as he gets set to watch most of this regular season. We'll see what happens. Malika Andrews live from Brooklyn. Thank you. Meantime, the Nets, they open the preseason a week from today against a Brazilian club, Franca. The Nets, meantime, they're listed as 35-1 odds to win the 2020 title. That's according to Caesars Sportsbook, ranking just outside the top 10. Their over-under win total is also set at 43.5. The Nets, they have not won that many games in a season since 2014. That's back when Jason Kidd was the head. That was then, and this is now. The last time Russell Westbrook and James Harden played together was Oklahoma City in 2012. They've been reunited after Russell Westbrook was traded now to Houston this offseason. Question is, can these two former MVPs coincide together and finally get the Houston Rockets to the NBA Finals? Both men talk today at Rockets Media Day.
If Russ got it going and Russ is on one of them games that we all seen before, guess what I'm gonna do? Sit back and watch the show, and vice versa. And that's just a part of basketball. So you can't sit here and say, oh, well, Russ is gonna have the basketball for the first half and then I'm gonna have the ball for the second. No, things happen throughout the course of the game that you just flow with and go with.
I'm all ears, man. I'm here. I'm new. I'm excited. I'm just here to have fun and win and play at a high level.
Russell, what's been the deal with these early workouts, even if they're more home that you've had with James, and just the chemistry, the bond on the court with both of you guys playing together?
It's going to be scary. That's all I can tell you. It's going to be scary. Not for us.
Joined now by Adrian Wojnarowski. And Woj, listen, everybody says all the right things this time of the year, but the questions about whether or not it'll work, whether it'll work to put these two guys together, two former MVPs, they're fair questions. Obviously, the Rockets believe it can happen. What are they saying specifically, Woj?
Sage, from the very beginning, since this trade was made, Mike D'Antoni, this organization, the reason that they believed this could work, and their faith in making that deal with Chris Paul was because James Harden wanted this, and he told the organization he will make it work. They're banking on his relationship with Russell Westbrook, their history. And Mike D'Antoni told me, listen, these are two great players who will figure it out, who have played with other great players. And Mike D'Antoni is as creative and innovative as an offensive mind as there is in this modern era. But in the end, he understands and believes that these two players will make it work because they want to make it work.
And maybe that's the difference from them in past years playing with other great players. Can't wait to see how it plays out in Houston. And also in New Orleans, one of the most compelling teams will certainly be the Pelicans, Zion Williamson and Lonzo Ball. I know you spoke with Lonzo on the Woj pod specifically about his relationship with his father, LeVar. Here's an excerpt.
Do you think maybe it gets easier because the role that your dad will play going forward is like as your father and maybe less as a business partner, less as he was your coach for a long time? Do you think that might make it easier if it's just going to be more father-son, and maybe that simplifies some of those tensions that come out in a moment like that?
I mean, like I said, my dad's always been talking my whole life, so I mean, it's nothing different to me. I think what makes it easier is that I'm controlling everything now. Like, you really can't tell me what to do. Like, this is my life, my career. I'm making all the decisions now. I chose to go to CAA. So I don't know. I just think me becoming my own man is gonna make it easier, honestly.
Woj, that sounds like such a mature young man, a lot of growth by him. How do you think this will translate on and off the court for Lonzo?
Sage, in the short time he's been around that New Orleans organization, that's what his teammates, the front office, coaching staff have seen, a very mature Lonzo Ball. And a Lonzo Ball that's building already a chemistry with Zion Williamson. He told me he's already thrown some full-court alley-oops to him and said, you throw that ball anywhere near the rim, and Zion's going to get his hands on it.
I mean, 21 years old, right? The kid's been through so much, but it seems like the sky truly is the limit, and the move could make all the difference in the world. Woj, we are 10 days away from their preseason opener, Zion, Lonzo, and company. I'm sure you'll be down there a lot this season. We look forward to it. Thank you.
Thanks, Sage.